Okay, let's dive in. Thinking about music, it's just so much more than, background noise, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's like the heartbeat of our lives, really.
Yeah, it scores everything. The big moments, the small ones. Dancing, heartbreak, those songs that felt like your secret anthem.
And how it connects generations, too. Passing down those sounds. It's incredibly personal.
Totally. And the sources we're looking at today, some song lyrics and notes from a novella connected to them, they give us this really unique angle.
Yeah, it's all from the perspective of someone who just calls themselves a ghostwriter.
Right. So this deep dive, it's not just about the songs themselves, but really trying to understand what's it like to be that person.
Exactly. The one creating the music that defines other people's memories, their identities even, while you stay completely invisible. No credit. Nothing.
Yeah, it's such a strange idea, isn't it? I mean, think about it. You've probably danced, cried, lived huge moments to music made by someone just like this. A phantom, kind of.
A phantom in the night, yeah. That's a good way to put it. Pulling the strings behind the music.
So our mission today is just to explore that feeling, that experience, based on what this ghostwriter actually says in the material we have.
And right away, the sources really emphasize this combo. Huge creative output, but total anonymity.
Yeah, phrases like, never seen, never in the spotlight.
Behind the scenes hidden. They even say they're like gravity essential, but unseen. Not a face you'd recognize.
Invisible, but everywhere in the culture. The lyrics sort of walk us through time, don't they?
Melodies from 42, wartime radio songs.
The ones maybe your grandparents swayed to, calling it their favorite hymn, that kind of thing.
And then, boom, it jumps forward. Dad in his denim jacket feeling rebellious to certain songs.
Songs the ghostwriter says they wrote.
Exactly. And now, flash forward again, you're dancing. Phone in the air.
To music with the same chords, different decades.
There's that line, from vinyl to cassettes, from CDs to the left, the faces change, but not the name behind the songs they play.
Wow. So 4 generations, all moving to these sounds.
Yeah.
Sounds the ghostwriter actually calls borrowed sounds.
Borrowed sounds. Yeah, that phrase really sticks out in the material, doesn't it?
It does. What do you think that implies?
Well, it suggests that the core stuff, the melody, the rhythm, the feeling you connect with for your rebellion or your first dance, it might not actually belong to the famous face you see. It's like sound just floating around, used by different people.
With no credit to be found.
Right. And the ghostwriter seems very aware of this. They talk about making memories they'll never know.
Crafting the soundtrack for lives they're not publicly part of. Writing really personal lyrics about pain, maybe.
And then reading reviews praising someone else's name for it.
Oof. That's gotta be tough.
Well, the sources describe it as complex, a mix of pride mixed with something bittersweet.
They say, I smile and understand that's how I play this game. But there's still that hint of something else.
Definitely. That line, sometimes I imagine stepping past the veil, claiming what is mine. There's a longing there.
But they don't. They choose to stay hidden. The material says it's their role to play.
Finding a sacred space in watching from afar, making magic from behind the curtain every day. It sounds like less of a constraint and more of a choice.
A deliberate choice, yeah.
And according to them, that choice has its own payoff. They mention trading recognition for insight.
Finding freedom in this kind of living. So turning their own deep feelings into something tangible.
Something that others get to know and feel. That seems to be a big driver for them, based on these words.
What really gets me looking through this material is just the sheer scale they claim.
Oh yeah, so many of the things you care about. Music for movies, TV.
Being the voice of your generation, your parents, your grandparents. It's huge.
That line, I wrote the soundtrack to your life. It just captures everything, doesn't it?
It really does. Every first kiss, every goodbye.
Yeah.
The lullaby your mom sang, the tune that got your dad choked up.
All these incredibly intimate moments potentially linked by this one hidden creator. Their signature sounds I never claim.
Which makes you wonder, about creativity and credit when the source deliberately stays hidden.
And they put it so starkly. You wear my heart like borrowed clothes, and that's the way this story goes.
Borrowed clothes. Wow, that's intimate. Describing their deepest feelings being worn publicly by someone else.
But then the sources throw in another layer, right? Hints about their actual process.
Yeah, stuff that goes beyond just writing pop songs. The notes mention Fibonacci, the golden ratio, Tesla's frequencies, 3, 6 does 9.
Okay, whoa, yeah. Let's slow down there a sec. Those are pretty specific, maybe even esoteric concepts.
Right. So for someone not familiar, what are we even talking about here? Based on the notes, obviously.
Good question. Based on what's written, it seems the ghostwriter might see their creative work as tapping into like universal patterns.
Okay.
So the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, those are mathematical patterns you find all over nature in art, often linked to harmony, balance, like a seashell spiral.
Gotcha. Patterns in nature making things feel right. And the Tesla 369 thing?
Well, Nikola Tesla was apparently obsessed with those numbers.
Yeah.
He thought they were key to understanding energy, the universe, vibration. Some people link them to, like, fundamental frequencies.
Huh. Okay. So when the ghostwriter talks about having harmonic secrets or seeing a spiral descend in silence or being a whisper in the wire,
Yeah.
are they suggesting their music isn't just chords and melody, but somehow plugs into these deeper, almost mathematical or like energetic structures, universal harmony?
That seems to be the implication in the source material, yeah. Like their creativity is rooted in something more fundamental. They talk about being a phantom in the quiet air.
Asking, do you ever hear me in between? Do you know the ghost behind the scenes?
Right. Describing themselves as just a ghost between each note. It's not just the sound, but the silence, the space around it that matters.
That ghost between each note. It also links back to the whole generational thing they talk about.
How so?
Well, they observe how every revolution comes back around, like someone's kid is now singing another recycled song.
Ah, right. The same story, the same patterns carrying on through time based on notes they wrote ages ago.
So their influence isn't just in the songs, but in how those musical ideas repeat and cycle.
But there's maybe a darker edge to that cycle in the sources too, isn't there? A hint of cynicism.
Yeah, definitely. While they talk about freedom, they also wonder if they've become what they despise.
Trading truth for beautiful lies, selling dreams I criticize. Those lines stand out.
It adds this really powerful tension. Maybe the anonymity isn't just bittersweet acceptance. Maybe there's disillusionment there, too.
It could be. It suggests a pretty complicated relationship with the whole music machine. Maybe even with rebellion itself.
Especially when they say flat out, truth be told, there is no rebellion. There's only me earning a paycheck.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of punctures the romantic myth of the pure, hidden artist, doesn't it?
It really does. Maybe the freedom they talk about is also freedom from having to buy into the public story.
Freedom from the hype, maybe?
Okay, so let's try and wrap our heads around this. Based purely on this material, we've got this picture of the ghostwriter everywhere, across generations, shaping culture and private moments.
But totally unseen, dealing with this weird mix of feelings, pride, bitterness, freedom, maybe even a bit of cynicism.
And hinting at this deeper, almost mystical creative process involving patterns, silence, spirals.
A truly fascinating figure, based on these words, writing the anthems and the lullabies, but staying a shadow, leaving their heart out there for others to wear, like, borrowed clothes.
So pulling it all together from this deep dive, what's the big takeaway here?
Well, I think the core thing emerging from the sources is that conflict. Creating work with massive defining impact, but being personally erased from it.
Right, the paradox.
Yeah, it highlights this hidden dynamic, maybe a hidden cost, or perhaps just a very specific chosen path, and how creative work gets made and consumed. They are fundamental to your experience as a listener, yet totally absent from your awareness.
Okay, so here's something to chew on, then, for everyone listening. Think about the music that's really mattered in your life.
Those key songs.
Your first kiss, your big rebellion moment, that song you dance to endlessly. Given what we've unpacked from these sources about the ghostwriter, how much of that feeling, that connection we attribute to the famous star, might actually come from someone hidden?
From hands you've never seen, like this ghostwriter? Does knowing that possibility even exists change how you listen?
Yeah, does it shift how you think about creativity, or about who deserves credit, or just about how music connects us all in ways we don't always see?
Maybe next time you're really feeling a song, listen closer.
Can you almost hear that ghost between each note? Or sense that spiral in the silence, that whisper that sparks something? The phantom might be closer than you think.